Splatoon Side Ore is the newest form of DLC in the series, featuring a roguelike style of gameplay where you climb a tower, die, and learn from the last run to do better next time. In this story, you play as 8 waking up in a mysterious place, currently suffering from mild amnesia, and there's no apparent way out. This is just the beginning of Octo expansion. At least you don't wake up with an old man screaming into your face, but with Pearl instead. Pearl explains that Marina is missing, and that we should go looking for her. Which doesn't take too long because she sends a cry from help from the top of this tower. So now all we need to do is climb this tower. Shouldn't take too long, it's just one tower. How hard can it be? Welcome to every house flipper's wet dream. A building colored in 50 shades of monochrome, with an interior devoid of any form of life, and enough edges to put any Sonic OC from 2010 to shame. I'm faster and way cooler than Sonic. No, I'm faster and way cooler than Sonic. What am I doing with my life? Taking the doll, or leave you in, we are suddenly jumped by Jellytons. Pearl just spawns us some guns and is like, go commit crime. So we oblige and take the shot. Doing so opens the elevator door, and Pearl is immediately, without any hesitation, is just like, kill that motherfucker. Here we meet Oct, a friend of Marina's that goes way back. They came here after hearing Marina's voice but were attacked by those Jellytrons. And while I love their music, they kinda just exist, I guess? Don't get me wrong, their inclusion is awesome, but they're just a tutorial. They're the ones to teach us how the game works, which, by add, doesn't make any sense because they were trapped in an elevator. But yeah, they only really expand the lore of the game, which isn't a problem. It just leaves them the role of pushing a button on an elevator. Speaking of which, it's finally now time to head to the top of the tower and save Marina. One floor at a time. Why is it designed to go up one floor at a time? Because it's a roguelike, why else? Between each floor though, you are given the ability to choose which ship you want on your palette, giving you the freedom to choose how you play. There are multiple different types of chips, but they can be summed up to range, power, support, mobility, luck, and Pearl Drone. Though since this is a tutorial, your chips are just pre-chosen for you. Also, while you're here, could you like and subscribe? This video was supposed to come out before Grand Fest, and that was, wow, 3 months ago. Who knew animating was hard? This video has been done for like 8 months now. With that, we make our way to first dot floor. On this floor, our objective is destroying that portal over there. Portals constantly keep spawning enemies until they get destroyed. And in later levels, you will have more portals to destroy, or bigger ones which have more health. Gliding dot floor is the first floor to show us a different objective, which is just zones in rank, where you just paint and defend an area. Turbine Tower is another objective which asks the bold question of, what if, hear me out, we made tower control more engaging? Shocking idea, I know. Escape Dash Artist off floor, god these names are getting a mouthful, shows us these fuckers. They are just annoying to deal with, nothing more, nothing less. And finally there's... No, wait. You can't be serious. Why did they bring back the 8 balls? Those levels were torture in Octo expansion. Wait, what do you mean they can't fall off anymore? I mean, that makes it more bearable, I guess. If you don't understand how bad 8 ball levels can be, then this will convince you. And this is what the added benefit of the walls being here. Now imagine it without walls. It was truly a cruel world back then. Reaching the top floor, we make it to the control room where we find Marina. Or what's become of her. Nintendo trying not to give children nightmares challenge. impossible? Like, are they not trying to scar children? I mean, this is like Nintendo, what we're talking about. They do this all the time, intentionally or not. I mean, like, come on, she's hooked up to a bunch of wires against her will. It looks like she's being puppeteered when she wakes up, and it gets worse when you break the barrier, because once the barrier breaks, the speakers become eyes, and the giant tentacle wrapped around her starts beating like a heart. By destroying the giant tentacle in the middle, you set Marina free from her prison that she was put into. Here we meet the big bad of the DLC, Order himself manifested. A conscience generated from the masses who yearn for stability. Wait, I feel like I've seen this exact plot somewhere else.
I am the administrator, born of the collective human unconscious. The god of control, Yaldabaoth.
Sorry, but I can't help but notice the similarities. Order plans to create a world with nothing but order, and now that his plans to grayscale everything's almost complete, he launches us off the tower. And so, that's how we end up in this situation. Back on the ground, and having to climb the tower again. But now this is where the fun begins, because the tower has grown an extra 20 more floors, making the journey up there harder, and giving Oct more buttons to push. Oh, and Marina's here too. But it also allows us to finally use the palette to its fullest extent. You want to make a build where the charger never runs out of ink and shoots faster than a glorified machine gun? You can do that. Want to make a build with Tri-Stringer where all it does is blast enemies into the stratosphere with explosive knockback? You can do that. Want to roll around at the speed of sound, crushing your enemies as you go, until you clear the level? You can do that. Actually, all you need to do is spec to special gauge to win. What? Sorry, I can't hear you over my 1000% fire rate on the blaster. And after all, why not? How about we just make a build where we just stop playing the game and let Pearl do all the work? And while we're at it, how about we just gamble and have faith we'll win big? There are just so many different ways to build your weapon to what you want it to do, and many different weapons to play, allowing for so much freedom and replayability. If that were true, yes, while the replayability is there, it's... I guess? For starters, the hacks that Marina provides can only make the game easier. There are no hacks that make the game harder. The hardest difficulty is no hacks. This is something every other roguelike does. Why can't side order? Now look, I understand this is a children's game. To which I have to say, enter Agent 3. Must I say more? The next problem is the stages. Yes, there is 101 of them, and that doesn't sound bad on paper. Until you realize that the developers Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V have the stages and slapped a different objective on them. Now, I'm not expecting every stage to be a unique masterpiece. This is a roguelike after all. But a bit more variety, especially in the lower stages at least. And where are the stage gimmicks? Where are the gushers, the ink furlers, the bounce pads? We have one stage that has a moving platform, and it's just a wall. A wall. Now they do spice it up with danger floors, and I think they do a fine job when they come up. These floors added an extra little challenge to the existing floor, ranging from nothing's changed, mild inconvenience, who turn off the lights, and who decided to make this game into Toho? And in floors 20 and above, you could have two of these effects at the same time. Isn't that great? Honestly, I don't know why they didn't make the danger floors into their own hacks you can activate. You know, for the people who want a bit of extra challenge. There are also bonus floors, which give you self-imposed challenges. These exist for a bit of side cash at the cost of some absurd stipulation. I've lost so many runs because I wanted more membucks. What can membucks be used for? Really, two things? rolling for different floors, and oh boy, let's go gambling! And finally there are the bosses, and oh boy, the bosses. You got Asynchronous Rondo, Pinging Marsile, and Parallel Cannon. 2 of these bosses are really fun to fight. Then there's the Baller. I don't even know what to say about him. You just bully him. Maybe he'll throw some bombs at you and become a baller if you don't break the layers fast enough. Really, the real enemies are the ones that he spawns because, let's be real, you're just trying to finish the boss as fast as you can. You don't want to be here longer because you're just fighting a baller. The one saving grace about the boss fight is that you can speed it up by pushing him into the bumpers. Just be careful when he lands. Unlike Baller though, Asynchronous Rondo is actually fun to fight. Maybe because he actually tries to put up a fight with you? Each and every layer has a weak spot that you can destroy, but every layer also has a searchlight, and if you get spotted, it will try to splat you by throwing bombs or specials. Going under the boss, you'll start spawning enemies and shooting out waves the size of the layer until you leave. After it takes a certain amount of damage, it will enter a rage state where it becomes immune to damage and it will shoot out several bombs or specials. Basically, you're just fighting a Junior and Neo Splash player combined. But this will leave him exposed after, allowing you to rack up a bunch of damage. You can also speed this up by only hitting the layers with the glowing lights. If successful, all other layers will disappear. Or you could just stack a bunch of sound damage chips and use Killer Whale, allowing you to destroy every single layer before he can even attack. And lastly, Parallel Cannon. This is a horde of Gelatin Inklings. They have the same weapons as you, they can also throw bombs and glide using their drones. The only way to beat them is to outplay them. And don't get me started when you see your weapon, because most of the time it's just...
You might know everything I'm going to do, but that's not going to help you since I know everything you're going to do. Strange, isn't it?
The bosses are fun to fight, except the ball. I just wish there's more of them. Well, there is one more I haven't mentioned. Yes, I lied. Cry about it. The last boss is located at the very top of the Spire of Order. When you finally reach the top, you come face to face with... Don't talk about Persona. Don't talk about Persona. We come to face with Order himself at the control room. Marina really wanted to talk him down and explain that a bit of chaos could be a good thing. But unable to comprehend that her creator is going against him makes him go crazy, and he lashes out at us. So we have to solve this with violence. The Magistrate of Order, Overloader, is the last boss of the DLC. Same as Marina before, you must destroy all the tentacles to lower the shield protecting him. But instead of doing it once, we have to do it 3 times. And in each time, the tentacles spawn harder enemies and try to run away. But his arsenal also got an upgrade. He can now shoot out reef sliders, launch you in the air with his tentacles, and the ability to use Stingray. The devs know what they're doing with this one. And even after all this, we failed. He was able to complete the preparations, and he finally grayscales the world, remaining in this state forever. Joke's on you, I lied again. This is a Nintendo game. We have to have a happy ending. Pearl, kill this man! We got one more send-off in the series before the new era starts. And just like every other final boss in this series, they have to finish it off with a bang. And oh boy, do they deliver. Running around and collecting every single chip in the game to become an unstoppable monster. Overloader is useless to stop us with each tentacle we destroy. And once we got everything, we could finally end this. Pearl, for the last time, finish him.
Fatality.
Well, that's one way to take down the villain, by making them into a baby, so I guess it'd be more appropriate to say this is a babality. And that's Side Order. I personally had a great time with the DLC, but can understand why you wouldn't like it. The last DLC, Octo Expansion, is just